Lynn Sudlow's request to sue?
I just handed you another.
Oh.
You are
Lordy.
live. Leave us
I like the first one better.
alone. Well said, Ed.
Okay. Whatever. Hello, folks. Thank you very much for listening in. Hopefully we have some good information for you. So with that, we'll start the meeting with our town clerk giving her report.
Okay. I wasn't here last Tuesday because we were sending out the 30-day lien notices for 2023. We sent out 103 accounts worth of certified and non-certified 30-day notices. As of today, I just ran a report and 90 accounts are still outstanding. So we got quite a bit of movement after they went out, so that was good. We did have a Text My Gov training again last week. We had a Zoom. Renee and I went through the system again and had some questions. Right now, we're at the point where we just need to play with the system and see what we need to change. I was wondering if the select board would like the phone number on how to access it, because it's basically live for us right now. We just haven't had people sign up yet until we get, if there's any quirks or anything we want to change on the responses or something like that.
Can we help with that if we get the number then?
Do you want me to email that
Yeah,
information to you?
email it
Yeah.
to us.
Okay. There is a widget they asked us, excuse me, to post on our website,
Right.
but it's just going to say coming soon. I just didn't want any sort of confusion with that. It's not live yet, but once we get the widget on there, it will say, when we do make it live, it will say live or some sort of indication that you can sign up. So, right, I'll send out that information so we can start seeing that. Debbie, do you want it too? Do you want to play with the text window? No? Okay. Just town report questions. Do you want us to choose the photo, or do you want to come up with a photo? Because we have quite a few nice photos over in the clerk's office. Do you guys want to review and choose a photo for town report? Or how do you want to go about that?
You have some nice candidates.
We have all kinds of nice photos. It's just a matter of choosing one.
Bring in.
Maybe we can go through them on the computer or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright. So we're gonna start pulling that together. The appointed positions, I laid out all the ones that have expired since June, but it looks like Debbie might have given you the forms.
Yeah, a bunch of appointment sheets.
Okay, so that's taken care of.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Your comment about changing terms,
Well, yeah,
some of those I think are statutorial in
is that what it, that's
the
why the
fiscal
June?
year.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was just
I'm not
curious.
sure all the ones that are the end of June are, but
Okay, so we'll
Yeah.
just leave it as is.
yeah.
Okay,
But it's a good idea.
just everything the same, but
Yep.
that's fine. And other than that, just the other issues, I guess, or just questions and ongoing work that we need to do. Jen did try calling the auditor to get a status update before the meeting, and there was no answer, so hopefully they call us back and find out where the heck we are.
Yeah.
And the tax collection updates are at the bottom. I did add a little bit of detail on how many accounts are outstanding, so that's just kind of an idea of where we're at in addition to the percentage of what we've received.
Excellent.
That's all I've got.
Any chance we can look at the
Files?
yeah,
Yep.
the age report for
Yep.
yeah, for
Yeah, that's good.
Boston Post Kane.
I can just email it to you right there.
Okay, yeah,
Is that
yeah,
okay?
absolutely.
Okay.
Danielle, the MMA grant stuff, at some point I'll get a detailed receipt from you so I can submit it for,
Oh, I'm sorry, did I not give you the details?
I think you did, and then you said you had to do something different.
Okay, let me get that to you as well.
Yeah.
Yep. We did have, an incident, and is the MMA grant money spoken for basically in the fall yet?
No.
There was an incident, in our bathroom for the hallway for the public to use. It seems as though Jesse Winters looked at it, and it's not handicap accessible, I guess. I didn't know if maybe we could look at that.
Do you know
Okay.
what needs to be done?
He said the toilet seat, I guess, needs to be ADA compliant, and like I said, we had a problem with,
What a lot.
someone came in yesterday, and there was a problem with the
Okay.
bathroom, so I don't know if maybe we can look at that.
Sure.
Maybe that'd be a good candidate
Sure,
for the
yeah.
grant money
Yep.
in the fall or
Yeah.
something, so,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I looked at it in terms of getting security cameras, which it would be, that'd be something that it would cover, and I'll look at it for that also.
Maybe it's not that much money, maybe,
Right.
yeah.
You can't do two separate projects, though.
Oh, you can't?
Nope, has to be
Okay.
all related. So,
Okay.
yeah. So, but I'll check that out. I'm not sure that would be covered under the fall grant, but
Okay,
I'll check it out for sure.
all right.
Yeah.
Great.
Thank you. We reviewed and approved last week's notes and this week's agenda, and approved bills for this week, which will get paid next week. Add public hearing, final draft for the new comprehensive plan. August 6th at 6 o'clock. This is the result of the information meeting a couple of weeks ago. And we'll see what the comprehensive committee came up with, if they've made any changes or what changes they've made. Code enforcement, we're waiting, obviously we'll be getting a report in a few days about July. State police, animal control, all these reports, as we've said before, come in once a month around the second week of the month. Nothing on the appeals board. We just talked about the comprehensive plan public hearing on August 6th. From then, as I understand, would be going to a either a special town meeting or include this in the annual town meeting. I think that's something we'll have to,
We were gonna include it in the annual town meeting because we've already had 2 informational sessions about it, so it would just be a,
as
you know.
part of the annual town meeting. It shouldn't be too
yeah.
shocking to anybody. Sotheby, as I said, gives us a report another couple weeks. West Nile virus, positive bird found in Parsonsfield. It was a crow. West End virus in a crow in your town.
West Nile.
So we'll have information on mosquito-borne diseases. I know a lot of the news stations have mentioned, long sleeves, long pants, insecticide with DEET in it. That type of thing goes a long way to preventing that type of thing. Judith Blanco requests to plant native plants along Province Lake. I think that's just progressing. She's
Yep, I've
got
heard from
approval
her.
from everybody, as far as I know.
Yep, she's already contacted the DEP and is just waiting for their approval. We may want to go take a look at the actual area that she's talking about. She's sent several pictures, but it might be worth making a trip out there just to check it out. So. Look at the beach and the
They
dock.
just signed appointment sheets, or signing appointment sheets for people to be appointed through June 30th and maybe next year's town meeting. It's going to depend on whether we can do it or not. It would certainly make sense to appoint everyone through the town meeting, and then it's sort of a clean cut for everybody. These are people like tree warden, fire marshal, town doctor, town clerk, 911 officer, plumbing inspector, building inspector. All sorts of good things.
If I can just correct, because that's an important one, we don't appoint the town clerk.
Well, that's true, but the clerk was,
She
for,
is- She
yeah.
was appointed.
Freedom of
the
Information Officer, right,
yes.
sorry. Which I'm sure she's overjoyed with that appointment.
Freedom officer?
Yeah.
Freedom access? That's a fun one.
Yeah. We had a complaint from Mr. Cross on North Road, who's concerned about our inability or responsibility to enforce real estate law. So I'm sure we'll be getting back to him with a reply. Lynn Sedlow is requested to use the old town hall, or the old townhouse, on August 17th. From 1 to 3, to information about the history of the town and the building. It's sponsored by the Parsonsfield Porter Historical Society and the Parsonsfield Union Church Society. Gives you a chance to learn a little more about the town. Keys of Falls Hydro,
We probably need some action on that. She's requested to use the townhouse.
I know we haven't, okay, I thought we were gonna wait for the application, but,
Debbie has the
Yeah, I
application.
have the application.
okay, would anyone
Yes,
like
it's
to
every-
comment on the use of the townhouse?
I think
I think
she's,
it's a good use of the townhouse.
yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Yep,
I would make a motion that we allow this August 17th from 1 to 3.
second.
All in favor? Aye, okay. Thank you. So Keys of Falls Hydro wants to make some modifications to their equipment in the river, and the Saco River Commission is looking at that. We have Southern Maine Planning Development Annual Report. Part of it's about Climate Action Plan. 3 or 4 towns have adopted an action plan: Biddeford, Kittery, Kennebunk. We have some copies of what we think we may be involved in and how we can participate in that plan, so. Jen is putting together that information for us.
We
We're
could-
still working.
I was just gonna say, we could disseminate the link for the SMPDC annual report if people were curious. Put that on the website.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'd be great.
have it in electronic form?
I'm looking at this, did you,
Yeah, Debbie, will you
Yeah.
forward an email from SMPDC to Danielle, please?
We pay an annual fee of about $600 to Southern Maine. They give us a lot of benefit in coordinating the sand and salt purchase with about, I'd say, 10 other towns, so we get a very good price and actually save more than the fee to join. And they've supplied a lot of information and support on the comprehensive committee. So they're a very good resource that I think just starting to use now. We've sort of not let it slide, but we found out it can be very valuable. The road commissioner spends half his time, I think, trying to put FEMA reports together so we can get reimbursed for a couple of storms from both the federal government and the state. Updates, Jen, you want to talk about our Province Lake visit?
oh, Ed and I went to the Province Lake Association meeting. It was informative, well attended by a lot of members, you know, who are in New Hampshire, but we kind of felt like we needed to be a face of Maine. They talked about the cyanobacteria levels, said that's a real problem in the lake, and it will take, I guess, years to fix. It's slow, a very slow process, but I think they actually said they've managed to get rid of like 143 pounds of phosphorus, which is the main contaminant, or it's what makes this the blooms.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. We didn't.
Do you have
Anything else?
Yeah.
Oh, where do I start?
You have a couple of things you're working on there.
Right.
You have a couple?
Yeah. So next week we're going to talk again with the Southern Maine Planning and Development, hopefully a couple of women who are helping us work on our resiliency partnership. So we'll have more to update on that. Next Tuesday we talked about the comprehensive plan, and I've also been in touch with the company for striping the crosswalk and the post office parking lot. There's two businesses that also have parking spaces there that are interested in having theirs restriped, so we'll just wait till we get a quote from, it's called Kaz's Fine Lines, they're out of Dover. I think I mentioned last week that they were $1,000 less than the main company, zebra striping. I've had a lot of contact from our York County EMA directors on hazard mitigation, hurricane planning, lots of emergency plans that they forward information to that I could print it out. We could make an emergency, planning folder if anybody was ever interested in taking a look at it. They also highly recommend, and I guess it's supposed to be required for elected officials to take a couple of the National Incident Management classes. So I have information on that also. And we'll go from there.
Thank you.
Okay.
David?
Yeah. First thing is air conditioning for the code
Oh, yeah.
enforcement office. They've been dying in there. And so I told them I would bring this to the board. We can get an air conditioner for $700 or $800. Well, that's a little bigger. Figure maybe $1,000 for an air conditioner, and need to bring a new circuit over, which I'll do. They said they'd do the installation, but we'd need another probably 150 for wire and box, an outlet, and a breaker, and you better make that 200.
What kind of unit is it? A window one?
It'll be like these, yeah.
That encompasses both, the whole room though. I mean,
Oh, yeah, just like this, yeah.
it's, that, the other room gets used by the,
Planning board?
no, geez, the landmark.
Oh, yeah, they haven't used it for quite a while, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They haven't met.
I know Wes was involved that a lot with.
Yeah, but it was even before Wes's passing. Yeah.
Okay.
You can't use a stand-up unit in there with like since they're only there not very often.
Like a floor model thing?
Oh, I've seen one at the local barber shop, and it's like a stand-up unit that you put actually a hose like in a window, and then
The problem
It's
is the
on- it's on
windows in
wheels.
there.
oh really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The
They
casement
aren't
window doesn't,
sashes,
yeah.
they're-
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
otherwise that'd be ideal, I
Yeah.
think.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
So-
total cost is, what are we looking at?
I'm looking at 1,200 maybe.
Oh, that's a lot cheaper than a heat pump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess I look for authorization to spend, and I'm not expecting to, but I would say 1,300 to purchase and install an air conditioner in the CEO office. And, come out of building maintenance or building,
Maintenance.
whatever. I mean,
Yeah,
we're in the new year now, so money is there. So,
Jen, you feel comfortable with
Yeah, I mean, personally, I'd love to see a heat pump go in, but I don't think that's that probably will be for other things. No, I'll make a motion that we do a search and spend the money on an air conditioner for the CEO office.
that? I'll second the motion.
okay?
Anyone object?
Nope. Okay, thank you. Next, we've got our possible upgrade to fiber for internet and phone service. I got a quote from Consolidated, which I think I told you about. Well, I may not have, may have been after our meeting.
Yeah, they told me
last
about
week.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was on Thursday.
For less than what we're paying right now for phone and internet, we can get a fiber connection, new phones, everything.
That does the same functions.
Much more
More,
functionality,
okay.
yeah.
Not less, certainly.
Not, certainly
Okay.
not less, no.
More better.
More better.
I believe their number, and I apologize, I should have had it in front of me. There we go. All right, their number is, well, for 6 phones, I believe. Yeah, no, 6 phones would be, let's see, 217 and 40, 250, about $260 a month. And we can up that number, the number of phones as we need them. 6 is what we have right now.
Okay, but we could, each select person could have a phone. in
Yes,
effect.
yes.
So
So
it'd
we
be 4
actually
in here,
need
2.
2 more, because I didn't include that in there. That'd be another $20.
Well, code enforcement should be in there also,
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah. So for less than 300.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm waiting for the quote from Spectrum, who called today and said they had done a site survey. And I haven't gotten it yet. But the numbers that he was talking are higher than what this was. So I guess maybe I would still wait for that quote and make a decision next week. But I'm certainly going to recommend that we go for it.
Now, the reliability factor is the same or a little better, or?
It's
You can't
better.
tell.
If,
Okay.
if power is out, but the lines are intact, then the internet and phones will still work, whereas they would go down before. So it kind of defeated the purpose of having the generator. Now with the fiber, the generator runs and the internet and phones work.
As long as the lines are.
As long as the lines
viable,
are up. If you got a tree down that took lines down,
You're in trouble.
then it's
Yeah.
gonna be the same. Now, the one thing about the Spectrum setup is that they guarantee 100% uptime. And if you don't have that,
Yes.
they will reimburse 1-for-1 the time you were down. However, it's not gonna get you reconnected any faster.
How do they reimburse?
Well, they give you a credit on your bill.
Okay, so they say if you're down for 15 days, they theoretically give you credit for half a month type of thing. Okay.
Right. Now, I'm not sure that that happens often enough to justify the extra expense that Spectrum was talking about. Again, I don't have the actual quote,
Right.
but, I mean, he was talking about $400 and some odd dollars. So, but we can look at that next week.
Alrighty.
And then, last thing is our code enforcement job description. There is one in our zoning manual, so, and it's fairly extensive. Unless we decide to change that, well, if we decide to change that, it's a zoning change.
Oh,
And-
okay.
Yeah. So I would say initially, let's leave that the way it is, but we need to look at the pay scheme for the code enforcement officer, which, basically, I think we've agreed that we'll go with, either an hourly or a salary, but we're looking at a full-time position probably. So we probably wanna, well, we need to discuss amongst ourselves what we're gonna pay, and then I
And
would
how many
say-
hours should be dedicated to the job?
Oh, I think it's gonna be a 40-hour week.
So we're gonna go from 8 to 40 in effect,
Well,
theoretically.
yeah, but it's a lot more than 8 right
No,
now.
I know, but that
Yeah.
was the initial concept
Yes,
way back.
yeah. I mean, first of all, we have a deputy right now,
Yeah.
which we had not talked further about, but we need to. And this person would be eligible for benefits. It would be a full-time benefited position. So anyways, we need to talk about compensation, and I'd recommend that we ask Jesse and Eric to come in briefly next week just to bring this up with them, because we haven't discussed it with them. But we've had calls to get away from the
Permit fee.
permit fees being what we pay the code enforcement officer, and we had a legal recommendation that we do that also.
All right,
And that's it.
thank you.
Speaking of code enforcement, I just want to add one thing.
Yep.
We're scheduled to have our automatic door openers on August 9th. And I did want to thank both Jesse and Eric for donating their time. They opened up the ceiling for one of the, whatever it is they use to make the doors open. They donated their time and put that in last week, and it looks great.
Yeah, does.
Yep, so thanks Jesse and Eric.
So when you walk in the front door, look up,
Not yet, it's not painted yet.
and if you don't want to pray, that's okay, you can thank Jesse and Eric.
Yeah,
As some of you know, we mentioned it last week or a couple weeks ago, we're looking at fencing for around the salt shed at Secaucus. Gorham Fence Company is going to be coming out here next week. So we're trying to get at least 3 quotes. The first one was excessive, it seemed, but who knows. Then in addition, we're planning on putting a fence or guardrail between the front of the building and the sidewalk, so as to assist people in getting up to the automatic doors. So, we'll get some prices on that too and figure out the best way to do that, whether it's through a grant from MMA, which we, good chance of qualifying for that, or whether we pay for it. But that's something we're looking at. Important notice, probably the most important notice of the whole meeting here. The public hearing on August 7th 6 o'clock, land use and development ordinance for the proposed adult use cannabis ordinance. So, if you have any concerns about it, or you'd like just to find out what's going on more than what you know now, please attend that meeting. The next step from that would be probably a special town meeting to enact the policy if that's the way it turns out.
Yeah, to vote on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I just ask a question about that?
No. What?
Is there a reason why we can't add that vote to the municipal ballot
The, at the annual meeting?
when we vote before the annual town meeting? Instead of having a special
Oh.
town meeting and a special, why can't we just add that as a paper vote
That's
when
probably,
you vote on your candidates?
Well, we talked about that. We felt that it was gonna be a,
well, she's talking about the vote on Friday, not the annual town
Yeah.
meeting.
Yeah.
Paper ballot vote.
Paper ballot vote,
Added to the ballot with all the candidates on it.
that's a great idea, Danielle.
Well,
As long as
when
we
your
can.
absentee ballots have to be available.
I'll have to look at the date.
It's 30 days, I believe.
Okay.
So, and we're not gonna know for sure where we are on it until,
August 7th
Seventh.
to,
actually, we're not gonna know until the planning board meeting after.
Right, 'cause they have
because
to-
they have
like
to-
2 weeks
Yeah,
after
until
that,
the
right?
17th,
they have,
I think it is.
yeah, they have
Yeah.
like 30 days after to,
Yeah,
Yeah.
so they'll,
Yep.
and that, vote at their next meeting, because they can't make decisions at their workshop.
right.
that would be a good idea if we could, if the timing was such.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, I'd have to think about that. But anyways, it's not
I
gonna
mean,
work.
theoretically, everyone's gonna get their views next week. Public or concerns out there, and people will be able to make up their minds next week, so
Mhm.
that theoretically then a yes or no votes, you know. I don't know if I agree, it'd be another special town meeting and
Mhm.
probably have to go through the whole thing all over again, but if you have to do it, you have to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we're not gonna make the
Right.
clerk's deadlines anyways.
Okay, quickly, just electronic drop-off, Walker's Chevrolet, the old Walker Chevrolet, the 14th of September, the tire drop-off, October 12th, and we're working on an electronics, a hazardous waste drop-off at some point. So,
Do we know the times for the electronics drop-off?
She
I don't
probably,
think
she probably did
Definitely.
email it to me. I'd have to look in the email again.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
it was in the morning last time, right?
yeah.
And Youthful in Maine will be back August 22nd at 3 o'clock that's the program Jen's been involved with, right?
Yep.
All right, that's about it. We did accept CMP's offer to change the streetlights to LED, providing they didn't increase the wattage of the lights. So they either kept it the same or will reduce it. And with that, folks, that's about it. Jeff, sitting very patiently,
Yes.
or no, but whatever.
No, I'm patient. I'll try to stick to the meeting. Number one, the AC is making a lot of noise, so people can't hear the meeting. Just,
You mean when you're at home? You're listening to it,
people who are listening now say that there's a lot
Okay.
of background noise. I told them it's.
maybe we shut it off during the meeting.
Yeah, we could.
Probably.
It might still be on high, which is probably,
Since we're talking about air conditioning and spending money, can't we just take the CEO and put him in the planning board where there's an air conditioner already?
I'm sorry, say it again?
Can we take the AC, the code enforcement officer and put them in the planning room where there's already an air conditioner, so they don't have to spend any money on an air conditioner?
Well, they've got their files, I mean, they have
Their desks are set
five,
up. Yeah.
five fireproof file cabinets, and then there at least 2 or 3 other file cabinets, and they've got desks, yeah.
Or then maybe put them in that planning board and put the planning board in the, in that, in the other room. Take all their.
In the hot room?
Put them,
Yeah.
put the planning board in the hot room.
But they would need it.
What they might want, right.
They,
Yeah, no, they don't meet as frequently, but,
yeah, and
Yeah.
if it's hot, they just can go in the gym like they used to. Just trying to save money.
yeah.
Yeah, all right, we'll consider it, yeah.
Okay, and since we're talking about CMP, I would have liked to see the town vote on the LED lights instead of just, 2 or 3 people deciding what's best for the town. I think that should have been maybe a monkey survey or whatever they call it, and see what people think. I think it's, in
Well,
some
wasn't-
areas, there's just too many streetlights.
Wasn't it just this
Yeah, I'm
group
just gonna
that
say,
decided what's
I
gonna
think
stay
you
and
and
what's not
Jesse-
gonna stay?
Yes,
Okay, so
I mean, it's,
You and Jesse decided
yes.
which
Yeah, but I
lights to
didn't
get
have-
rid of.
I didn't have a say this time, and it just.
We're not
worked out.
adding streetlights.
no.
No.
No, but you want to try to reduce the cost, but of course, there is an initial cost of changing overall.
Not to us,
No.
no, absolutely none.
None, okay, so that was, it's not what I've been reading.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's absolutely no cost.
And the wattage is gonna be less, which we know
Yeah,
concerns
but
you
there's
initially.
there's still controversy about how bright they are, and then people have to buy.
Well, we're trying to reduce that as much as possible.
Don't take CMP's word for it. I mean, I'm just saying that those lights are pretty bright, and people in the neighborhoods don't realize how bright they're gonna be.
Well, they're not gonna be any brighter than what they are now.
Oh, it's the blue light, it affects it runs in your brain, it's a whole other thing. So we'll move on from that. And it's too bad too, because there's probably gonna be coming out with solar streetlights, and we could have broken away from CMP, but that's probably another subject. Recycling, well, it's not, you guys didn't really mention recycling, except for the tires and the electronic waste, but we have a recycling committee.
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Yeah.
Is it on the website?
I don't know, Jeff.
I don't think, I couldn't find it,
Okay.
and because I'd like to, be able to contact somebody on the recycling committee, besides somebody telling me who it is. I'd rather see it on the website, so
Uh-huh.
I could, look at it that way.
Yeah.
And I noticed our recycling is way down, not much is being done.
On what? I'm sorry?
On recycling,
Oh, okay.
it's really, really, really poor, and I see a lot of cardboard out of the same people every single week. I've asked to have like a little oops ticket, I put a thing on the ticket, on the barrel, say, whoops, you get cardboard, that's recycling first and third. Everybody should remember that, but our statistics are right with other people that don't even have curbside,
Mm.
and we have curbside. So we're almost wasting our money having curbside, we're better off almost having the dumpster. Because the dumpster might be cheaper than having Melon pick it up, and we'll reduce the contract. Or we'll go to Sanford, pay by bag, which I would not want to see. But that, when you do the pay per bag, then people start to recycle. And I know recycling sometimes doesn't work anyways, it's just to feel good, for people to think that they're saving the environment. But we're not recycling, and we're really close to the bottom. There's other towns that don't even have curbside. So, and you mentioned something about FEMA. When are we gonna finally get the FEMA report done? Every single week we talk about FEMA.
What do you mean by the FEMA
Well,
report?
I mean, it's from the road commission. I mean, we talk about it every single week. Is there a deadline, like, gotta get that report in now? Or-
Well,
2 weeks from
they're
now,
closing
2
out
months from now?
soon on the 2022 storm, and we're just started the April 4th storm.
Yeah.
We just started the April 4th storm.
Okay, so we're all done with 22?
I don't think we're all done. There's more money to be had with other costs. But there's other costs besides road. Engineering.
I know, it just
Yeah.
seems to be being dragged out, that's all.
Yep.
I shouldn't be here.
Welcome to government.
No, I know.
Yep.
I know. Since we mentioned the word generator, is there any way of moving that propane tank out of the playground?
We've talked about moving it for other reasons.
Yeah, so you can push the snow down there.
Yeah,
Like that.
yeah. Although our current contractor didn't have a problem with it.
Well, it's still in the middle of the playground.
Yeah. Yeah, well, again, we'll look
Talk,
at it.
talk about expensive.
I was just gonna say, that's.
To move that,
Should have never been put there.
that is it's a horse of a different color.
Yeah,
Yeah. And I know you guys are in contact with the school and the school contract and stuff like that with Carl. Maybe this year you could ask for a breakdown on what it costs for the school buses to run during the regular school week, and then the after-school program and the summer program, a little breakdown, to just see how much it costs. I'm not trying to eliminate school buses, but so to me, I had thought of, geez, if we found out how much money it costs to send these kids to summer school by bus, maybe that money could have been used to hire extra teachers to teach the kids before the end of the year, so they don't have to go to summer school.
Yeah,
That'd be a school board.
It'd be a school board thing, but the busing costs might be when they discuss school budget. Do you ever go to the school
I
budget?
went to a few of those meetings,
Yeah.
and it took quite a few years for them to actually give me a breakdown of what it costs to run a late bus and a regular day.
Yeah,
But I'm looking at school buses that run during the summer.
yeah.
And it's a shame where you let a kid slip through the cracks all year long, and then at the end of the year, you send them to summer school, that costs the taxpayers more money.
I know. I think, Jeff, that's a very broad statement to make, that you let them slip through the cracks. It's, we
Okay,
don't
they
know,
didn't slip-
we
they
don't
didn't slip
know
through-
all
They
that.
didn't slip through the cracks until June, and then they have to go to summer school.
Yeah.
They should have had that money that maybe we're paying for school buses could have been used during the year to help tutor these kids.
Yeah, maybe it could have.
We can't keep doing the same thing over and over again. We gotta think a little bit differently. I know it's abstract, but let's find out how much it costs to run those buses, and maybe that money could have been used to educate the kids that need that extra help.
Yeah,
During-
except you're never gonna eliminate
I know.
summer school.
Yeah.
You know, and you're never gonna eliminate schools, and you're never gonna eliminate
I
the
mean, whether
cost
you
of
reduce
schools,
it by
and you're never
50%.
gonna eliminate taxes.
Yeah, but you gotta, I mean, I understand what you're saying, and the idea is a great idea. But, and you can say, all right, we're gonna do this, and we have 100 kids in summer school, and now we've got 25. Great, you're still gonna transport these 25. I mean,
Maybe they could have got the education before.
well, anyways,
Yeah, that's a tough, that's a
It is.
It's-
generalization.
it's an interesting idea, Jeff.
Mhm.
And what kid wants to go to school in the summer anyways?
Hmm?
What kid wants to go to school in the summer anyways?
Well, that's true too, maybe if they paid more attention during the
That's
year.
up to parents' vacation. They were gonna go away, now they can't because the kids gotta go to school.
All right,
Abstract.
thank you. I guess with that, the end of it, folks. We'll see you next week, hopefully. Everyone stay out of trouble. Stay cool.